Today we are going to discuss with a topic named organizational behavior. In short, we call it OB. Now, organization these days are the most important part or the most important system into a developed society or a developing society. What this topic is all about, we are going to discuss so afterwards. Organizational behavior indicates two important definition or two important concepts with its name. First is the organization itself, second is the behavior. Now, what is organization? Organization is a system or a process which has its own members to attain or create certain goal. Now, after organization, behavior. Here we would only talk about the professional behavior. We are not considering behavior at our home. We are considering only the behavior at workplace. Now, what is that? That how behavior of an individual influences the environment or the influences the workplace and as well as the production system into an organization. That is the main focus of this paper, that is called organizational behavior. Now, whenever we start with the topic, first we go by the introduction, then we come to the definition, then we go for the features or characters, then we go for the type if it is available, advantages, disadvantages, and so on and so forth. So when we are going to discuss about the organizational behavior, first we would take the concept of organization at a whole. What is organization? What is the feature of the organization? What is the component of organization? And then what are the types of organization? And at the last, advantages and disadvantages of the organization. Now, this will only cover the basic level of organization, and with a purpose, we are avoiding the critical part of the critical study, the critical part of organizational behavior and organizational studies. With the concept of organization, again I'm going to explain that organization is a process where certain number of members or certain number of individuals take their responsibility, play their role, and attain some goal, which is the production of that particular organization. An organization is always set with a purpose. So, after this definition, we would be following with the features of organization. What are the features of organization? An organization must have features. First is structure. Second is process, then relationship, then authority, then responsibility, and performance and group behavior. Then what is structure? Structure is a system. Where the entire work is defined or entire work is declared how to be done or how to be attended or how to be performed. Second one is the process. Process is the way of work. That means the individual who are performing in this process, how they will act or how they will perform. The next one is the relationship. What is the relationship? Relationship between two members. There should be a relationship between members and the organization, members and the management, employees and the higher management, middle management and lower management, and executives and engineer. And there are n number of designation. There are always n number of designation into an organization, and all the individuals or the members does have their own relation with the other members as well as with the whole organization. So there should be a relationship, a clear relationship for the members as well as for the organization. Next is authority. Authority is very important. Authority is basically the power relation. Authority defines with whom and what amount of power there should be, and how the power would be centralized or the power would be decentralized. So what is the structure and the process of power relation is the authoritarian structure of that organization. Next is responsibility. Responsibility basically speaks of the rules, roles and regulation. Roles, rules and regulation. Alright, so every member should have their responsibility defined and very clear concept of their own responsibility. Next one is the performance. All the members are assigned to some kind of task on which they have to perform. So all of them have their own performance as an individual and after that they have their own performance as a group. After that they have their own performance as a organization. When the person is performing at an individual level, it would be individual performance. When the entire group, that means few individuals, are performing at their team level, then it would be a group performance, and the entire organization would be performing on the basis of their group performance as well as the individual performance. The last is the group behavior. Now this is the most important part of the all in this feature, because group behavior defines the entire relationship, the authoritarian relationship, the responsibility as well as performance, how the entire process, how the structure and the process would perform, that is done, that is defined by this group behavior. Because group involves all the individuals in it, and that group is performing as the organization. Alright, so how the group behavior is performing within an organization regulates how the organization is successful or not, or even the organization is growing or not, or developing or not. The entire thing depends on the group behavior, how the employees are behaving with themselves, between themselves, and how the group is behaving with the other group, how the group is behaving with the entire organization and how the group is expressing their behavior even external to the organization. So this is the most important part of this entire feature, that group and behavior. How this behavior is defined by this entire group is actually plays the central goal of this part. After this feature of this organization, we would move to the behavior. Organization is done with its definition and its feature, then it would be behavior. Now, as I mentioned earlier, that this behavior is only, we are talking about the formal behavior, not the informal behavior. That means behavior is how we act or react into a situation or against a situation. That is our behavior, that is our behavioral pattern. Now, we would only consider the formal behavior. That means we would only consider the behavior which we perform or which we create during our formal life. Formal life means during the life at our workplace. Whenever we are working at our workplace, we are working at office, we are working at school, we are working in the hospital, how we are behaving, that is our formal behavior. Now, formal behavior does have its own structure. Formal behavior does have its own process. Formal behavior creates its own relationship. Formal behavior even is regulated by the authoritarian structure. It does have a responsibility. Formal behavior creates performance or deliver performances, and formal behavior give the generation of group behavior. After this feature of behavior, now we would come to the point of workplace. Workplace is the place of organization. Now, workplace in our modern society, workplace does have a lot of definition, a variety of definitions, because earlier in traditional hours or traditional times, individuals used to go to an office. They used to stay there from 9 to 5. They used to have a fixed hour of working, and then they used to they used to deliver their work or responsibility within a conditioned area, it may be a building, it can be a place, an office, a factory, a hospital, or even correctional cell. Whatever the organization is, that has to be, initially it used to be a formal sector, but with a modern concept of workplace has changed its concept in a variety of senses. Workplace, we can consider our home as a workplace. We can consider a rented place as a workplace. We can consider a formal organization as workplace. So there are a lot of variety of workplace, but here we would only consider the formal workplace, not the domestic areas or any other rented areas. Last but not the least, this is production. Now, whatever we are studying under the section of organizational behavior, it is to understand the production process, production as a process, and how this process can generate even more and more production, how this process can create a better production, or it can create a better environment for the people, for the individuals who are connected to this production. So this is the main introduction of the organizational behavior. What we are going to be concerned into this subject, that is, these are the things we are going to take care of into this subject, but through a variety of topics which would be coming into the next session. Thank you.